Hi, Marley. Sometimes it's easier for me to be able to show you rather than do screenshots and tell you. So I'm just basing what I'm answering here based on your question. So it says, I can't seem to find the quotations to use for numbers 5 and 6 for the assignment. And so I'm going to go to that assignment right here. So for number 5, here's the quotation right here. Okay, so you're using this quotation. It said, use it correctly in a short paragraph. Think about introducing it, setting up, and giving the correct reference information. So something that you need to know is that when it comes to MLA citation, the quotation is greater than 4 lines. So that will take particular formatting. We know that the author is here. It comes from page 4. Those are really important for MLA citation if you're citing a quote. It uses ellipses, which is a ... or something that transitions from before. So we need to have a quote that uses ellipsis at least once in your paragraph, and do not exclude the following words, thus the truth. Okay, so we're supposed to use this quotation and put it into a statement. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look up why is it important that it's more than 4 lines. So I'm going to go to some resources that I have. So I've gone to the course homepage, and here is the video that explains this assignment, as well as I've put in an MLA citation guide that I used in that particular video to help. And so what I want to do is I'm doing in-text citation. And I also want to make sure that I'm using APA or MLA. And I want to make sure that I have all the pieces that I need. So I'm looking for in-text citation, and I'm going to be looking at how to incorporate a quote more than 4 lines. So in this guide, I've chosen formatting and style guide, and I'm going to be looking at style of quotations. So in going through here, really what MLA and citation is just following the format of whatever the guide says. So we don't have a short quotation for typed lines or fewer. We have more than 4 lines. So we've got a longer quote. These are very short. So long quotations that are more than 4 lines or 3 lines of verse place quotations in blocks. So they actually have to be introduced, and then they have to be double indented. At the end of the quotation, we're going to include the author's name and the page it was found. So that's really important for us to be able to do this particular quote. So now that I know what it's supposed to look like, I'm going to use some of my other resources. So I explained it in the video that's in that news feed right here. And there's the citation guide. The extra thing that I did is I did these ahead of time. So that is not what I'm looking for right now. Give me 1 second. So sorry, this has been kind of choppy. So what I've done is I've looked up what needs to happen in terms of 4 lines, and I've looked up what the in-text should look like. So there's 2 things extra that I need to do with this quotation is I need to use an ellipsis that cuts out some of the text, and I also need to exclude the following words. And I'm not sure I've done this part, but I'll make sure. So I've gone back and I've done it so that I can show you what the end product can and should look like. Introduce it, set it up, give it some reference. So even though I've never read where this comes from, I've introduced it based on what I understand about this text. So I've introduced it, and then because the quote is over 4 lines, it has to be indented 2 times and single spaced. So in a report, typically this would be double spaced. And then because this is a quote longer than 4 lines, it needs to be double indented and single spaced. The other thing that I need to include is I need to include the ellipsis. So I cut out part of the text. So what that is saying right there is that this is the first part of the quote. I've cut out some, but that I've continued it on so that I can get to the heart of what I wanted to use that quote for. I've got the author and the page number that it came from based on this, right? So in using the MLA citation guide, we start to learn how to use quotations within our work, whether we're using research or whatever it might be. This is good practice even if you're not using direct quotations, to make sure that you're giving reference to where your information is coming from. So I hope that answered your question in terms of what's the quote that you're using. In number 6 in particular, you're no longer doing quotations. You are simply putting this into a works cited entry. So that would be at the very end. So in text, we're identifying that Caitlin Shaw wrote this quote. Now what we want to do is have bibliographic information at the very end in MLA citation. It's called a works cited. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we include all this information, because what that tells the reader is that this is the source that it came from. Caitlin Shaw wrote it. If I want to look up what that book title is called so I can go find it myself or access it myself, that's where I'll find this information. Okay, it's not enough to just put the URL. You have to put that in works cited. So for this particular one, we're going to go back to that MLA citation guide, and we are going to look at how to format. It really wants these videos to come up. We're going to go back and we're going to look at MLA citation, sorry. It sort of went out of that. Works cited, that's what we want to create, but we want electronic sources. So there's a particular way that you order all that information. If you've ever used a citation generator, they are often very helpful. This is Citation Machine. I often find that it's really good. I just find Citation Machine has a lot of advertisements, and you can actually enter in the URL from the assignment, sorry about that, from the assignment right here, and it might find that information. You can double check it with that. I just did want to show you that you can actually see what it's supposed to be formatted, and you're given all the information, so you can actually see what it's supposed to look like right here. So you just fill in the information. You know the author, you know the title of the work that she did, because it's listed right here in the activity. The title is The Power of Discourse. So you have that all information. You can enter it so that it looks like this, right? So you can copy those same things. It breaks it down, what it's called, where it's from, the website that it came from, and when you access that particular website. I did want to show you in Google Docs, if you are apt to use Google Docs, in Tools, you will actually see Citations, and this actually opens up bibliographic information within it. So we're going to go to MLA and just make sure that's the one we've selected. Add citation source. We're going to select website. I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to enter in this information. And what it does is it does all the work for you. Instead of going through step by step and seeing that you have all these pieces, this is a great check that you actually can use a citation generator. So I'm going to type in that URL, or paste it rather, and hopefully it will come up with the information that we need. That is correct. That is correct. I'm accessing it today, so I'm going to continue. I'm going to type in some pieces that were maybe missing, and then you can go through and it will actually come up with. This isn't necessarily correct, so that's why you want to make sure that you go back here and you enter in all that information in the correct way, okay? So I hope that helps you understand exactly what you're doing. One of the things that I want you to think about looking for is all the resources that I've listed in the news feed, seeing if you can find a works cited page that works best for you. And you can possibly, for number 6, just enter it into a citation generator and use that, or you can use the resources you've been given there. So hope that helps explain the difference between using in-text citation and the quotations, and using a works cited, which is the bibliographic information that goes at the end of that.